Today, I want to talk about how Virtu is finally being investigated for fraud. Now, this isn't the same lawsuit from a few months ago for scamming their customers. This is a new investigation into securities fraud. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And now I'll dive straight in with the key information. So, T-Full tweeted saying, "What? The SEC is going after Virtu for securities fraud, you say? Nice." We can see from this screenshot from the US courts, from the US District Court, Southern District of New York, there's an ongoing investigation or case between the SEC and Virtu Financial. The cause, securities fraud. Date filed, the 9th of December, 2023. Or I guess actually this is American, so maybe that's the 12th of September 2023, but either way the investigation is still ongoing. We can see this case was opened on the 14th of September and has been consistently updated through November and through December. The latest updates on this investigation is for a letter filing a motion to seal exhibits re Virtu's motion to dismiss, and an application being granted to seal those exhibits. Obviously those exhibits are containing some very interesting data and information. We can't see exactly what kind of securities fraud the SEC is investigating Virtu for because it's been sealed. We just have to wait for the SEC to announce results or to announce more progress. But as I said, there was a lawsuit from a few months ago where Virtu's proprietary traders were trading in front of their own customers. It says Virtu failed to safeguard a database that contained all trade information generated from customer orders routed to and executed by Virtu Americas. The generic usernames and passwords were being shared through those proprietary traders, so Virtu could literally trade in front of its own customers. Now, if you don't know who Virtu Financial or Doug Cifu actually are, you may remember this interview. This is where Doug Cifu spoke about those infinite liquidity fairies and how market makers can effectively fulfill any trade in the entire market, whether shares are available or not. So if someone wants to short 10 million shares of AMC, hey, let's make it 100 million or 1 billion shares of AMC, but can't locate those shares, it's Virtu's responsibility to fill that trade and allow that customer to short as much as they like. Whether it's 100 million shares, 1 billion shares, 5 billion shares, or 500 million shares, Virtu Financial prides themselves on fulfilling that order.
In the 8,000 names, to the extent there's not liquidity on a lit exchange, fundamentally the wholesalers are providing infinite liquidity at the NBBO or the inside price. So if we get an order for 1,000 shares in Reg NMS stock that no one's ever heard of, and there's 200 shares on NASDAQ in New York, we fill out 1,000 shares at that inside price. That's meaningful liquidity. 55% of the orders that we received, Bob, we provide size improvement. In a complete, as he calls it, an auction environment, who's going to provide that? The liquidity fairy? I mean, it just doesn't exist.
So as you heard there, Doug Cifu is literally saying he has infinite shares. If somebody places an order to short 1,000 shares of AMC, or 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion shares, whatever it is, Doug has an infinite reserve of shares ready to go around. AKA he's creating synthetic shares and admitted to it in a live interview. Which is then funny because on Twitter he tries to deny that fake shares is nonsense and fake shares don't exist. Which is funny because he literally said word for word that he has an infinite supply of shares. We also had 3 brilliant trades today in the Millionaire Mindset Trading Group. One giving us 37% gains, another giving us 170% gains, and the third giving us 30% gains as well. Kicking us off, we had MLGL, which I alerted saying if it can get through $4.10 and hold there, it will push higher, giving us that 37% gain. We also had SERA, which I called out twice in the group, once at $3.64 and the other at $5.82, giving us a 170% run. And finally, we also had an upstart call option which ran over 30%. The group did brilliantly. JJ locking in over $160, Moses with $100, and everybody else making 10%, 15%, 20% gains too. So guys, if you want to be making hundreds of dollars every single day, be sure to join the Millionaire Mindset Trading Group, linked in the description below. What I really find funny about all of this is that Doug Cifu actually replied to one of my tweets from yesterday. You may remember this video from the other day where I was going through a literal Bloomberg article, literally reading the title, about how market makers could create and could cause a margin call spiral. Now, Doug Cifu replied to the video, or replied to my tweet, saying nope, which isn't really too much of a reply, but I found it really interesting that he's replying to, of all people, to me. Yes, fine, on YouTube I've got 40-something thousand subscribers, which technically in the grand scheme of things is still pretty small, considering some of the guys from back in the day had 300 or 400,000 subscribers on YouTube. Both Matt and Trey, when they spoke about AMC, had 10 times the amount of subscribers I have right now. But not only that, while I do have 40-something thousand subscribers on YouTube, I only have like 4,000 or 5,000 followers on Twitter, so my Twitter page is infinitely smaller than my YouTube. So why is Doug taking his time to respond to a guy with 4,000 followers and potentially watching my video? As a few guys in the comments said, why is Doug Cifu seriously commenting on this post? Clearly Doug Cifu has tons of problems to worry about right now. Clearly he's scared, and that's why he's replying to a small Twitter account with just 4,000 followers. Now, moving away from Virtu, I saw this tweet from Lamborghini, or specifically from FX Hedge, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Here they've tweeted saying Lamborghini is just introducing a 4-day work week for workers. Now that's pretty cool, a 4-day work week, but it really twigged something in my brain, and I thought, who else tweeted about a 4-day work week? I remember a tweet from last year that got tons and tons of attention from a 4-day work week. Adam Aaron himself tweeted a second Twitter poll or a second tweet about a 4-day work week back in 2022. Clearly, Adam Aaron and Lamborghini are on the same page, whether it's about a 4-day work week or just on the same page about other things, I don't know, but it's cool to see Lamborghini and Adam Aaron having the same ideas. As Crystal POS very rightly said, he asked, when Lambo? Now, Pip and Sammy has made an interesting observation, which is that insiders are selling shares of the 7 hills, of Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Apple, Facebook or Meta, and Tesla. I spoke about in one of my videos the other day what happens when these magnificent 7 tech stocks end up crashing. We know they're propping up the entire market, but what happens when they drop 10% like they've already done, 20%, 30%, 40%, or maybe 50%? We know all these hedge funds are crowded into the same trades holding all of these shares. So when these shares start dropping, hedge funds will drop like flies as well. And insiders at these companies are dumping massive amounts of shares. Clearly things are already in motion, and these CEOs, CFOs, COOs and everybody else is trying to get out while they still can at these high prices, selling off their shares. And finally, Ryan Williams tweeted saying, for those that continue to claim Adam Aaron is driving our price down with the conversion reverse split or whatever it is, he said the corruption in the market is very real. You can see it's not just AMC falling today, yesterday, or over the last few weeks and few months. Don't forget GameStop has been dropping as well. It's not like GameStop is still trading at $400 or $500 per share and is squeezing right now while AMC is being left behind. Both of these stocks are being manipulated at the exact same time. As I've said previously, while I don't agree with the AMC dilution, as I feel like it gives some of the shorts a way out, it's not just AMC that's falling in price or being manipulated, GameStop is right there alongside. And as Planet of the Apes tweeted, it's not Adam Aaron, it's the mainstream media or the hedge fund media, aka Investor Place and Tip Ranks, who are publishing 2 sell AMC and 1 don't buy AMC articles in the last day. This isn't 3 articles in a month or 3 articles in a week. This is 3 AMC articles in one single day. You can see here Investor Place, Tip Ranks and Investor Place again are all trying to convince you to sell AMC over and over and over again every single day. But guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.